Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. And we're waiting patiently for our K-1 visa to get adjudicated at the Service Center in California. Our NOA-1 letter dated April 18th, 2022. And we are now in April 2023. And I live in the Panhandle of Florida near Pensacola. Today's a little cold, a little chilly today. And Karina is from Caracas, Venezuela, and she is living as a legal resident in Bogota, Colombia. And today is Resurrection Sunday, so to all of our pals out there who are celebrating Resurrection Sunday, we send you our best wishes. Now, this video, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is about Liberia and Liberian K-1 visas and a little bit about Liberia for our friends watching us all around the world who want to learn about Liberia, and our friends living in Liberia waiting for their K-1 visa. Come on along. Liberia is officially called the Republic of Liberia, and it is a country on the West African coast. So hi everybody watching us in Liberia on the West African coast. It is bordered by Sierra Leone to the northwest, Guinea to the north, Ivory Coast to the east, and the cold, chilly Atlantic Ocean to the south and the southwest. Now, Liberia has a population of around 5 million people, and it covers an area of 43,000 square miles. So, you know, it's a small country with a lot of people. And English is the official language, but over 20 indigenous languages are also spoken, reflecting the country's ethnic and cultural diversity. I love listening to the indigenous languages, and it's important that we save them from going extinct. Now, in beautiful Liberia, the country's capital and largest city is Monrovia, and in Monrovia is where the United States Embassy is situated. So let's talk a little bit about the history of Liberia. On July 26th, 1847, that was probably what, a few weeks right before I was born. I'm just kidding. The settlers of Liberia issued a Declaration of Independence and promulgated a constitution based on the political principles of the United States Constitution. So the citizens of Liberia copied our U.S. Constitution, and Colombia did the same thing in 1991. And so on July 26, 1847, the Independent Republic of Liberia was created. And on August 24th, Liberia then adopted its 11 stripes national flag. It's a beautiful flag. Check it out. The beautiful United Kingdom was the first country in the world to recognize Liberia's independence. So the United States, you would think, would have been the first. So they need to get off their butts and get with the program, right? I'm just kidding. Liberia is a beautiful country. The landscape is characterized by mostly flat rolling coastal plains that contain mangroves and swamps, which rise to a rolling plateau and low mountains in the northeast. So I don't mind mountains as long as they're low. I don't like tall mountains. Whew, my body doesn't anyway. Tropical rainforests also cover the hills, and elephant grass and semi-deciduous forests, whatever that means, make up the dominant vegetation in the northern sections. The equatorial climate in the south of the country is hot all year round, with heavy rainfall from May through October, with a short interlude in mid-July to August. So visit in mid-July to August if you want to be hot but not rained on. The winter months in Liberia is between November and March, and it becomes dry, dust-laden, and there's what's known as a Harmattan wind, which blows inland. And it's not like, I guess in Nevada you get those winds blowing out there. It's the same kind of environment. And I'm sure that dust is irritating. The Central Bank of Liberia is responsible for printing and maintaining the Liberian dollar, and Liberia's primary currency is the Liberian dollar. But what's interesting is that the United States dollar is also legal tender in this country. And due to its status as a flag of convenience, Liberia has the second largest maritime registry in the world behind Panama. Panama, which is what? Next to Colombia. Liberia has 3,500 plus boats, ships, etc. registered under its flag, accounting for 11% of all ships worldwide. Oof. So if you see a big old cargo ship sailing out there in the Pacific or the Atlantic, there's a good chance it's been registered in Liberia, which is good for life. Agriculture, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is a major sector of the country's economy, worth 38.8% of its GDP, gross domestic product, employing more than 70% of the population. So Liberia is very, very, very important in exporting agricultural products. The crops include natural rubber, rice, cassava, bananas, palm oil, and timber is also a major export, valued at $100 million annually. So that's good news. Lots of money coming into Liberia. The U.S. ambassador to Liberia is the personal representative of the United States of America, okay, and he oversees the embassy and all federal departments and agencies represented within the U.S. Embassy in Liberia, in Monrovia. Representatives from the State Department and other U.S. government agencies and departments manage portfolios in the embassy concerning economic, commercial affairs, consular and immigration issues, public affairs, political and military relations and development. So the U.S. ambassador has a very big responsibility in the U.S. Embassy in Liberia. Not just Liberia, in every country in the world. Now, let's talk about Liberian precious metals. Gold, diamonds, and iron ore are some of the core minerals in the mining sector in Liberia, with a new mineral development policy and mining code being put in place to attract foreign investments. So if you want to go dig for gold and diamonds, Liberia is the go-to place. Now, I'll talk about K1 visas in a minute. Let's talk a little bit more about Liberia. The official language is English, and it serves as the lingua franca of Liberia. So English is the official language. As of 2022, last year, there were 27 indigenous languages that are spoken in Liberia. But each is a first language for only a small percentage of the population. So it's good to hear that the indigenous languages are not going extinct in Liberia. And Liberians speak a variety of creolized dialects collectively known as Liberian English. Now in Liberia, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the customary law allows men to have up to 4 wives. Okay? So that means 4 mother-in-laws. Okay? Can you imagine processing 4 K1 visas? Now that would be a lot of work for immigration, I'm sure. God gracious. Anyway, let's talk about food, my favorite subject. Food, cuisine, my favorite subject. Liberian cuisine, okay, heavily incorporates rice, the country's staple food. So the main food in Liberia is rice. And there's other ingredients include like cassava, fish, bananas, citrus fruit, plantains, coconut, okra, and sweet potatoes. So that sounds like a very healthy diet to me. Sounds very healthy indeed. And then you got heavy stews, which are spiced with habanero and a Scotch bonnet. Chiles are popular and eaten with fufu. Now, I don't know what fufu is. It sounds like the name of my pet dog, but I don't know. Liberia also has a tradition of baking imported stuff from the United States that is unique in West Africa. So the folks in Liberia, they bake food that is basically based on American bakes. So that sounds pretty yummy. I'm going to have to go to Liberia for a vacation with Karina. The most popular sport in Liberia is association football. And guess what? The president of Liberia right now is President George Weah. And he is the only African to be named the FIFA World Cup Player of the Year, being the nation's most famous athlete. So not only is he president of Liberia, he's also the nation's most famous athlete. Imagine, maybe we need an athlete president in the United States, like a soccer player or a famous basketball player. The Liberian national football team has reached the Africa Cup of Nations finals twice, in 1996 and in 2002. Now let's talk about K1 visas and the embassy in Monrovia. Now the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia, Liberia, their mission, their primary mission is to help Liberia, economically, politically, militarily, and they also have the job of issuing K1 visas. The U.S. Embassy in Monrovia, Liberia is located right here. That's their address and phone number, And if you want to contact the U.S. Embassy in Liberia about visa information questions, that you go to this website right here. Go to that website right here, or call these phone numbers. Call those phone numbers, Or you can send them an email, which is good, and their email address is right here. And that's for if you got questions, In fiscal year 2022, the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia, Liberia issued 72 K1 visas to Liberians wanting to marry their American citizen sponsors. Now, although U.S. citizen and immigrant services have resumed normal processing, or help, and if you're an American citizen in Liberia, contact the U.S. Citizen Service page, which I'll post. But visa services for both immigrant and non-immigrant visa cases have resumed normally. But due to the COVID pandemic, remember that COVID thing, the demand for visa appointments is a little high. So the earliest available appointment dates may take a couple of months to get processed and scheduled. So be patient, This is true globally. I'm sure it's true in the embassy in Colombia too. So hang in there, boys and girls. You will get your K1 visa and your K2 visas in your hand for the kiddies. Soon you're going to be on an airplane flying to the United States to be reunited with your American citizen sponsor so you guys can get married. And hopefully your sponsor is accompanying you to the United States on that big airplane. Thanks for watching, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is your YouTube channel. We're here for you. We're going to help pull you over the finish line to your visa process. Now don't forget, every Sunday at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. every Sunday is the YouTube Live with Diego, questions and answers on K1 visas. And so I'll see you at 5 o'clock Central Time tonight, because today's Sunday. Happy Resurrection Sunday, by the way.
I'll be back.